Today we're going to show you how to use Restorite MD. It's a product I created to remove oxidation from plastics, primarily in the medical environment to keep them looking clean and fresh, but also it helps increase the resale or trade-in value once the hospitals are done with their equipment. So just follow along for the next few minutes and you'll see how easy it is. Alright, so today we're going to be working with Restorite MD, and this is on an Olympus CV160 processor. It's been left out in the hospital for quite some time under the fluorescent lighting, which is actually what causes the UV oxidation to turn the regular white or off-white plastic yellow. So we're going to be using Restorite MD, razor blade, paintbrush, and I choose to use the clear packing tape to mask off the control panel just because it's not porous and it prevents the moisture from getting in behind the buttons in the control panel. So we've masked everything off, and you can see where I've taken a piece of 4x4 gauze and masked off the electrical connector, and now we're just going to trim out the plastic control panel. Just simply go around the edges with the razor blade knife and trim that out. And again, we're using the clear plastic packing tape just because it's not porous and it won't allow moisture to affect the control panel for the extended amount of time that the compound will be on using this particular method. So we're just going to go ahead and peel off that excess tape. Make sure our electrical connector is sealed up nice. Peel off the trim. And once we do that, we are going to be ready for our application process. It's nice smooth. Make sure that you have no gaps or bubbles to where moisture can get in. And then we'll go on to the application process. So here we are. What we've done is we've actually stood the unit upright, and we're using a spray nozzle on the bottle of Restorite because it injects some air into the compound and actually allows it to adhere a little bit better. It comes out a little bit thicker and you don't have to worry so much about running. So we're going to be pretty generous here, just squirting this onto the surface of the faceplate only, and we'll just apply generously. Keep in mind we've already masked off the control panel buttons and the electrical connector so that we don't get any oxidation or any moisture in those connections. Also, highly recommend using gloves when doing this process. If you do get the chemical on your bare hands, use soap and water, scrub, and then apply lotion afterwards. It does provide a mild chemical burn, but it's no more than if you went to a spa and got a facial peel. So it's just a mild chemical burn. And then we're going to take our paintbrush and we're going to take off all the material that's actually on where the control panel buttons are. And the reason for that is we really don't need the material there because it's masked off and there's no oxidation. So we're just going to use a little dab to go around the edges, make sure that it's on there fairly thick. Go ahead and shoot some more on there. We're going to want to make sure that we get the edges good, and we're just going to keep applying. It's going to have the consistency of about wallpaper paste. You're going to be able to get it to go on the edges fairly well, and it's not going to run, so you don't need to cover it with saran wrap or shrink wrap to keep it from running. In an ideal situation, we can have this process done in about 6 hours using sunlight. We're going to take some, we're going to shoot a little bit just on our paintbrush so that we can dab it around the outside edges, those vertical edges where the edges come around the faceplate. so that we can apply that. Now, the great thing about this product is there is no bleach, so it doesn't compromise the integrity of the plastic. Bleach will weaken the plastic, make it porous, make it more prone to keeping bacteria and germs, which obviously in the medical environment we want to avoid. There's also no acetone, so as we apply this liberally on any device, the screen printed instruction or nameplates, any of those markings, they won't smear or run. Even when you have it generously on there for a number of hours, you won't get any kind of smudging or smearing of the nameplate. Now we're actually going to take a UV light and we're going to turn it on here, and we're going to leave this overnight. It takes a little bit longer just because the UV index from the light is not as strong as the sunlight. Sunlight normally takes about 6 hours. And we'll show you here with how thick we've got this applied. And even with the Olympus logo, we've got this on there, and it's not scratching, smudging, anything. So it's safe for any of the instruction buttons or labeling of the manufacturers. Obviously, in a medical device, you don't want to alter any of that just for the purposes of instructions and safety. We're going to cover that back up, make sure that it's on there fairly liberal again, and then we're going to come back in the morning and see how the results look.
We're back day 2. We've set it under the black light for approximately 12 hours. So now we will go ahead, and first thing we're going to do is we're going to take some paper towels and we're just going to wipe off the excess. It's just going to make it a lot easier for us when we have to get down to wiping the plate down. Again, I would always wear gloves, but I'm rather used to this. I just took a wet rag with water at this point. And we're going to go ahead and get the excess. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn off the black light so you can see how this has worked over the course of the night. So as you can see, there is a significant difference in the color of the faceplate, and we'll go ahead and stop and come back to remove the masking. Okay, so here we are with our finished product. We're going to go ahead and just remove the masking that we had over the control panels and the buttons. It's a little tight. And now that's exposed, and we can go ahead and remove the masking on our electrical connector. And as you can see, there is just an absolutely significant difference between what we were dealing with yesterday on this particular piece of equipment and what we've got now. And so we can go ahead and get this prepped and ready to ship for the customer. We'll also go and do a follow-up cutaway with the before and after from these particular pictures.
Alright, so here we are. This is our before and after. As you can see, the noticeable difference between the oxidation from yesterday and the new appearance today. Obviously there's going to be a greater value that we can get from our customers for this piece, and our total labor time was only about 15 minutes, and then the exposure time to the UV bulb was about 12 hours overnight, and we're pretty much ready to go ahead and ship this out to the customer now.